Saint Jay Garcia Saturn, the most evil scientist in One Piece. He's one of the 5 elders that rules over the world, only answering to Im-sama, who hides in the shadows. But he's the only one out of the 5 elders that Oda has given a lot of information about quite recently. Now that he's arrived on Egghead and we've finished Kuma's flashback in the manga, we've gotten a lot about this essential figure that reigns over the world government. He possesses the title of Warrior God of Science and Defense. In this video, we'll be explaining everything there is to know about Saturn and what role he has to play in the story. Saint Jay Garcia Saturn, first introduced in chapter 233 alongside the other 5 elders. Interestingly, this chapter was titled The World's Greatest Power, leading us to believe that the 5 elders are the strongest forces that the world government has. Saturn controls every part of the government, from the Marines to the Cypherball agencies, and even the Fleet Admiral cannot challenge his authority. And from chapter 355, we know that Saturn is interested in having all the ancient weapons, because when Spandam told the 5 elders about the importance of having Pluton at their disposal, Saturn agreed with him, thus proving to us that the world government does not have all the ancient weapons at their disposals. But we do know that they have at least one of the ancient weapons, because in chapter 1060 we see Im-sama commanding the destruction of the country Lulusia using a weapon that comes from the sky. Only an ancient weapon would be this powerful, destroying an entire country with just one hit. So Saint Jay Garcia Saturn's goal is to maintain balance in the world by keeping the events of the Void Century a secret, and with the help of the world government, him and the rest of the elders have managed to keep the world in check, which is impressive when there are constant pirates trying to take your system down. But through it all, they have managed to keep this order for the past 800 years. We can assume that they're the ones that have always been in charge, meaning they do not age, or at least they age very slowly, because in chapter 1096 during Kuma's flashback we see Saturn and he looks the exact same as he does in the current story, which took place 38 years ago. Him not ever aging also makes sense, because when he saw Luffy in Gear 5 in chapter 1094, he immediately recognized him as Nika. And Nika is an old legend told by people that used to live during the Void Century more than 800 years ago. Realizing that Luffy has the Nika Devil Fruit, he immediately tried to kill him, which leads me to believe that he's aware how much of a threat Nika's abilities are to the world government, and that in the past he had to face off against someone that had Luffy's Devil Fruit, and that was obviously Joy Boy, the former user of the Hitonomi model Nika. But if we look at Saturn's design quickly, Oda based Saturn's surname on the lead guitarist and vocalist of the American rock band Grateful Dead. His name was Jerry Garcia. Not only do they share the same name, but they also look very similar to each other. Now let's talk about Egghead, because it was during this arc that Oda properly introduced us to him. First of all, it was during this arc that Saturn's position was revealed. We learned that he is the defense science warrior god, so it was here that we found out that he is a scientist, the most evil scientist in the world. Caesar Clown used to hold this title for having experimented on children back on Punk Hazard, but Saturn has done much worse. He experimented on literal babies, and we know this because in the latest chapter, chapter 1086, Saturn admits to Boney that it is thanks to him that she has this devil fruit. They experimented on Ginny while she was pregnant with Boney to see if they could give Boney the fruit without feeding it to her normally, and he even admits that it was because this drug experiment experiment that she developed the Sapphire Scale disease. It was also during this arc that we got Saturn's powers revealed, but not his actual devil fruit. Saturn was seen emerging from a magic circle that appeared on the ground. Upon closer examination, the intricate design of this magical seagull bears a striking resemblance to the iconic seagull of Baphomet, conveying a demonic representation, possibly hinting at the fact that the five elders are in fact demons disguised as men. What's even more interesting about Saturn's sudden interest on Egghead Island was the fact that his name, rank and title were mentioned for his introduction, but his devil fruit never was, leading me to believe that Saturn does not in fact have a devil fruit, but perhaps he is literally just a demon, explaining how he's able to live for so long. The lifespan of demons could be much longer than humans in the One Piece world, and by judging Saturn's appearance, which looks like that of a spider with a large abdomen and several legs sprouting out, he looks like a Yoshi Oni demon from the Shinto culture, and it translates to cow devil. Depictions of this creature presented as a terrifying hybrid between a cow and a spider. It has the abdomen and legs of a spider, but the skin and head of a cow. Even the abilities of the Oshi Oni are similar to Saturn's abilities. Legend states that if you make direct eye contact with an Ushi Oni, you'll be entrapped by their deadly stare and not be able to look away, and slowly your soul will begin to drain away until only a corpse is left. The similar ability that Saturn has is that he's able to blow up the heads of those who lay eyes upon him. He entraps people with his stare and instantly kills them. So if Saturn was to have a devil fruit, it would be the Ushi Nomi, a mythical zone devil fruit. But now, having finally finished Kuma's flashback, we now know how much physical pain and emotional damage Saturn has caused onto Kuma. It was because of him that Kuma turned into a pacifista, only doing it for Bonnie's health and safety. Kuma made an agreement with Saturn that caused him to lose his very own consciousness, and then treated him as a weapon to be deployed whenever he wanted. This is why I believe and hope that Bartholomew Kuma is the one that gives Saturn the final blow, not Luffy for once, because after everything Kuma had to endure because of him, it would only be right for him to be the one to end Saturn's life.